Before she even has a chance for that thought to shoot up her synapses and reverberate in her mind, the doctor smacks baby's bottom and the little one shrieks its first cry. That cry, quick as sound, quicker, jams itself into its mother's ears, derailing that first repulsed thought. It circumvents her brain. It shoots into her heart. Mommy forgets all about that first thought when she hears that wail. Her only thought now is, "My son!" My mother never heard that wail. My mother is deaf. My shriek flew up to her ears and, finding two broken, swollen drums, ricocheted back and meandered around the hospital room, looking for somewhere to roost before it impotently spilled onto the hospital floor. And, though her second thought no doubt was a loving one, I've always wondered if that first, "ew, gross," thought didn't make it to my mother's brain and, planting itself deep inside her, make her ask, years later, "What is wrong with this kid?" My earliest memories are of flying fingers, flesh-colored strings zapping through the air, signifying meaning. I didn't realize my first word was spoken in sign language. How would I have known that wasn't just how everyone talked? I didn't realize my mother was deaf, but I did realize that if I cried when she wasn't looking, it made no difference to her. If I wept in view of her, her face would screw up in compassion, and she would reach down and scoop me up to make me feel okay again. I took this information and imprinted it into my brain. As early as I can recall, adults have been telling me there was something wrong with me. I was passed around, adult to adult, each one throwing their hands up and declaring, "I don't know what's wrong with him either." Adults talked about me like that, right in front of me, all the time, as if my mother's deafness somehow applied to me by association. I'd spend time in the mirror trying to figure out what was looking back at me, what weird alien thing I was. According to my mother, I was born out of control, a feral kid, wild at heart, and physically unable to handle the energy and ferocity of my own body. If you could see my little Jew body now, you would find that very difficult to believe. I'd snarl and snap, I'd bite and foam, I'd shake with anger when the slightest thing didn't go my way, and my body would seize in convulsions of rage and uncontrollable emotion. Frightened, my mom sent me to a therapist. I was 4 years old. That is a demarcation point in my life. I was booted into the therapeutic garden and left to wander, entering an old rusty gate guarded by the ghosts of Freud and Jung. Being told, still wet from the womb, that you need therapy, it almost makes a boy feel broken. Oh, and my mother and father are both deaf. People are always fascinated when I tell them that. "They are both deaf?" they ask, winding up for a dumb question. "What are the odds of that?" I suppose they imagine two lost deaf people wandering across the land with a sign in hand reading, "Deaf Lonely Heart Seeks Mate." Having no experience with deaf people, folks usually assume they are rare as unicorns and that only magic could bring two of them together. The real story is less magical, more practical. In 1967, the World Games for the Deaf preliminary trials were being held in Berkeley, California. All the way in Brooklyn, New York, Stephen J. Kasher, my father, the deaf, sickly son of two Jewish communists, was determined to make those games. Lord knows why. My father was hardly an athlete. He was a slight, scrappy monkey of a boy, a shock of jet-black curls wrapped around his head like Art Garfunkel's long-lost, evil, dark-haired cousin. Nonetheless, my father walked into the living room and announced to his family that he was hitchhiking to Berkeley and he'd be leaving that afternoon. His mother, my Baba, Helen Kasher, wrung her hands with worry. She hated when he left New York. She hated when people left her. Baba was raised in Hungary, the first of 5 children, raised by a mighty Hasidic patriarch, my great-grandfather, Zaidi. Zaidi was the undisputed leader of the family, a chicken butcher by day, a Torah scholar by night, a saint by apocryphal...